All right, all right. Welcome to another episode here with your boy, the Real Shot 256. Another episode of Evening Crypto. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. And this is the weekend edition cast of Evening Crypto. As we head into this weekend, we just want to recap the things that are worthwhile mentioning. Although the price of Bitcoin in the last week, maybe two, arguably, has been kind of has been very tame. Not a whole lot going on recently in the market with cryptocurrency. There's been actually a lot more action to speak about in the traditional market space. So we'll take a look at that here for just a moment. And we do have other things that we want to talk about. Tom Lee was in CNBC, kind of giving his take on what it would take for Bitcoin to actually reach an all-time high. We'll get into what his thoughts are on that. And also, if you've been following the channel here enough, I think about 2 or 3 months ago when Binance announced the launch of its US-based platform, I posed a question to you guys about where are you guys possibly migrating to? Where do you plan to trade if you were trading on Binance? And now that they're closing their doors to US-based customers, they're opening a designated US-based platform that will require KYC and AML for US-based customers to be able to trade on, with a very limited supply of crypto assets to begin, to be fair. And then I'm assuming as things go on and things move on and the launch happens and maybe they get a couple of months in their belt, maybe they'll start adding more and more assets to the lineup. But more importantly is, where would you guys think of migrating to? What's the platform you guys are eyeing? I'd like to know. I talked to you guys about possibly going to Kraken. I did actually open up an account there, but I haven't begun my trading yet on Kraken. So give me you guys' opinion. Where do you think is the best platform to, or are you maybe trying out Binance USA? I myself, I don't think I'm going to try it unless you guys can make or somebody can make a very good argument as to why we should migrate to Binance USA. I might be splitting my trading between Kraken and Coinbase Pro. I've used that platform before, so I am quite familiar with the platform, but it doesn't have all the tools that we like. I do think on that end, Binance is a little bit better, but then you have, a lot of us go to TradingView for, our analysis and tools that we need to make our, more informed decisions when we're trading. So that's not going to change either way for me specifically. But again, let me know what you guys are thinking, where you might be migrating to. If you are trying out the US-based platform, in fact, let's look at let's start there. Let's look at the news release from Yahoo Finance. Binance USA will begin accepting account registration and cryptocurrency deposits starting on September 18th. So that would be middle next week. From today, today is Friday the 13th, Friday, September 13th. So if you believe in that thing, are you trading on a day such as today, or are you staying off the books? Let me know that too. The firm announced in a blog post on Wednesday, according to the firm, the first phase will support 6 assets: BTC, Ether, XRP, BCH, LTC, and USDT. During the initial registration phase, Binance users can select the verification tier based on their desired withdrawal limit. So if you guys have created these accounts, depending on the type of verification you do, the level of verification you provide, the more that you can actually withdraw within the 24-hour time frame. But if you do decide to go through the whole process of KYC, AML, and providing valid government ID, then the higher your withdrawal limit will be. Binance US has not revealed in which states it will be launching, as reported by the block. Binance US won't initially serve in New York. Well, what a surprise there. In July, The exchange hired Catherine Cole, former XRP institutional liquidity at Ripple, as CEO in August. Binance US announced a list of 30 cryptocurrencies it plans on listing at a launch. And I do think we've seen that list floating around on the interwebs. And but another point to actually re engage on is the fact that CZ is not going to be leading this project, and I've mentioned this to you guys. So take that in consideration if you are deciding to go and trade within the Binance US platform. Just know that CZ is not really part of it. He's sort of an outside consultant, if you will, where he might make some recommendations. He might kind of influence some of the decision making, but he's not the owner. He's not somebody that will be heavily involved. He's kind of be on the background. He'll be on the background and maybe providing some insight, some directional advice and that sort of thing, but not actively managing and developing the platform. All right, so that was on the news today, recently. And also the other story that I wanted to bring up to you guys is Mr. Tom Lee here from CEO or co-founder at Fundstrat, Tom Lee. He gave his opinion on I can't play the video because of copyright infringements. So I can't play the video, but if you guys want to go ahead and look it up, I'll put the link in the description. You can also follow me on Twitter, the Real Shot 256. You'll find it there as well, the Real Shot 256 at Twitter. In fact, I should have had that. There you go. Add me on Twitter. Let me know you're following if you do, and you guys can click on the link there if you want to go straight to the story. But he gives us his take. He's he is keen on traditional markets, thinking that if the S&P can actually have another decent run up, which it has, in fact, let's start there with the charts. We do see here the S&P is actually had reached for all-time highs here. The high of yesterday was $302.46, and so we do see a kind of tinkering there, looking like it might want to have an actual retracement before continuing that move. At the very moment, it does kind of look like it does want to maybe tick back. Look at the RSI here on the daily chart, looking like it's a little tired there from this move back here all the way up. And if you were following the channel, we kind of said that it was likely to come back and revisit 293, 294, and then quite possibly break out of there. So yeah, he's saying there's some reliance in the traditional market space. If traditional markets can, especially the S&P, namely, he pointed specifically to the fact that if the S&P can run up to higher highs and all-time highs, then certainly Bitcoin will be the catalyst for Bitcoin to actually reach higher highs as well. Let me know if you guys agree with Tom Lee. I personally, I'm sort of on the fence with that. We in this space, as you know, we sort of pride in the fact that Bitcoin is sort of a hedge, or some sort of a hedge, or an opposite player to traditional markets. But there has been some correlation, especially since the beginning, or actually since the end of 2018. There's been some correlation. It seems almost as though the S&P makes a move and then Bitcoin follows, right? So we could say that's happened in the past here in the recent history, say within the last 10 months, we've seen that happen. So it could be said that maybe Bitcoin does follow in this rally from the S&P and traditional markets. A lot of charts are looking very much the same as you do see here in the S&P, much like what Bitcoin how Bitcoin relates to the alt market. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys think that there's more correlation than it is, more than we'd like to admit? I personally believe there is some correlation. I'm not ready to say that, hey, this is heavily correlated or equally equally correlated as the traditional markets. But one thing to be said, though, when things are going well for traditional markets, then we can make the argument that things are going well for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets as well. So there is something to be said on that front. Let's take a quick look at gold. Yeah, we said it here on the channel. It looked like gold wanted to actually come back and retest the 55. It does look like it actually wants to do that. We're looking at the daily again. It does actually look like it wants to do that. Now, this also is sort of a natural form, as we do see here, kind of inverse action here. Again, gold is a definite hedge. We've known that for a very long time. Gold is a safe haven for a lot of traditional investors. Usually when the S&P and traditional markets do well, you see gold suffering and vice versa. And we do see it here. So, I mean, kind of an expected move here as traditional markets were being hit with all sorts of bad news. You did see gold actually creeping up and up and up and up. And we actually made a video about this a couple months ago where I was telling you guys that gold was very suspiciously creeping up in price, and it meant that there was something coming, something in the air was definitely brewing, to where some investors were starting to flock over to gold and away from traditional markets as a hedge, expecting some sort of bad news, expecting some sort of downturn in the market, and we did see that actually play out. So and again, as we do see the traditional markets recuperating from the latest and greatest tweets from Mr. Trump on trade wars and tariffs and all this good stuff. As we do see some of that fizzle out, we do see traditional markets recover and gold actually take a hit. So again, it's holding nicely here at around $140. We'll see if it actually holds there. It does look like it's found support there at 140. We'll see at the opening of next week if we actually do come back and hit the 55 here and bounce off of there. It's going to depend on what happens on traditional markets. If we do see a positive beginning through the week within the S&P and traditional markets, I do think that gold is going to get hit once again, and we do definitely will see a retest of the 55 here. But we could see definitely an initial bounce before we can say that we're either going to have a definite bounce and come back and retest this previous area of support here at 146, or we actually come back and retest some lower areas like the 89 here, coming in at around 135, right? So depends again on what happens. I do think there is momentum going into the weekend for this rally to continue for traditional markets. So we could potentially see an opening, a positive opening here on Monday. All right, I'm not married to the idea, but that's just kind of how things played out for the most part of this week, right? All right, so enough of traditional markets. Let me know what you guys think. Is Bitcoin correlated to these markets? Am I completely in the wrong by saying that we see the traditional markets run up first, and then we do typically see Bitcoin following that? I would kind of like to see a nice rally. I mean, we did see Bitcoin come back down and retest 10,000 here recently, right in here. Actually, that's 94. Right in here, we did see Bitcoin come back and retest at the low or $10,000 even. And then we've had a sort of a bounce off of there, about about $300. So if we go back to Wednesday's video, I told you guys that once we were down here in the 10,050 range, and I told you guys that if we were to change our mind in regards to the price of Bitcoin, we'd have to see some sort of bounce into the 250 area to the 300 area. In fact, let's go back to the 4-hour so we can get a little more specific about what I'm saying to you guys here. So we were talking about a couple of days ago, we were down here somewhere below the 10,100 mark, and I was talking to you guys about we need to regain the 55 if we want to kind of turn our heads around and start thinking a little bit more bullish. And we actually hit that target at 252. And then I told you guys also, 10.3 would be a more of a confirmation that we're actually, having a legitimate bounce out of this area, and quite possibly, start to get a little bit more bullish. And we've actually opened and closed plenty of 4-hour candles, although we did come back and retest what was the low of this one here, 153, 10153. But then we did have another bounce here earlier today, and we're trading again up above the 10,300, above the 55, and right at the 200 EMA coming in there. So definitely positive news. We can say that this is a much bullish stance as we currently are sitting here. So we can at this point say that there could be continuation as long as we're above the 200 here. I mean, we're trading right on top of it as we speak. So again, this is a more bullish posture. This gives us, in the lower time frames to medium time frames, this gives us a little bit more hopium that we could quite potentially come back and retest this area up here with this huge line of resistance that's coming in since the middle of June. This line of resistance has been building since the middle of June. And in fact, let's actually, I want to do a little tweaking here, because I like to keep my lines as tight as possible. That looks pretty tight actually, so we'll leave it as is. All right, so yeah, as long as we're above this 200 EMA here, we can say and stay tuned for a continuation of this run here, of this bounce off the $10,000 price over here. And quite possibly, if we can get above this area right here, there is a 10 simple coming in there, and there's also previous area of support and resistance here at 10,415, we'll call it. If we can get above that, then it's almost blue skies, almost free skies to about this area right here at 10,600. That is where I would be looking for a de-risk opportunity. And also, I mean, and I mean that, right? I mean de-risking, not completely exiting a position there, but definitely de-risking and reevaluating from that point at 10,600, right? That's the key area. Anything really above 10.5, you can start to consider de-risking your position. If you did enter a long here, that would be a great point to maybe start closing your longs and start taking some profits there at 10.5. Anywhere above 10.5 will be a great area to start taking profits and de-risking. That's what I'll be doing myself, but not completely, right? I don't want to completely de-risk, and I'll tell you why. As I've told you in my last video, we are running out of time within this formation. Let's look at the daily. Actually, that'll give us a better idea where we are currently. If we look at the daily here, we again are pretty full. We're over 82% filled here within the ascending triangle here, or a symmetrical triangle, however you want to identify that. We are very much in the fuller area of things. So from this point, time is definitely running out. We should be seeing a move here in the next week or so. I'm willing to say maybe by middle to the third week of September. Remember, we do have. In fact, let's put some sort of indicator here. What should we use? Let's use this flag right here. So September 23rd, this is the finish line right here. Let's move it over a bit. There we go. This is our finish line. This is where this is when BACT actually opens their doors and starts trading their physically settled Bitcoin futures contracts as of September 23rd. So we'll see. I mean, that is the kind of thing that could have an impact on the price of Bitcoin. I would have, this is why it goes. I always go back to this sort of thing where people like to assign a move in price to a certain event or news. And this is why I'm telling you, this isn't always true. Don't believe that. Certainly don't trade based on that, because if that were 100% true, we would see such an event have a run up to the event as they say, buy the rumor, sell the news. So we would have had to seen a nice run up uh, to that event and then a dump right after or at the date, right? And we're seeing quite the opposite. And I mean, as of late, we've seen sort of a price drop, and then yeah, we are having a bounce right here, but it's nowhere near the kind of price action that we're used to whenever we have such a big event coming into the crypto sphere as is backed. I mean, talk about something that the crypto spaces has been waiting on for a very, very long time. I mean, the speculation behind it that we would have a physically settled Bitcoin futures contract platform, and being brought and being built by ICE, the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, uh, talk about one a huge event in crypto and Bitcoin, right? So that would have had to have that sort of impact on the price, but it hasn't, right? So certainly don't trade based on news and events or things that are going on. There are, again, sometimes these things have coincidental value, but also there are some things that are valid, and although I do kind of want to lean on the side that yeah, it would be valid in this case because it's such a huge event. We're still seeing that Bitcoin is sort of ignoring that event. All right, so that is what's going on here on a daily. We did have a nice bounce off the 21 here on the EMA stochastic here, and we could find continuation. This is what I'd be looking for. I do want to see a more erect posture here on the RSI going forward. I know this is the weekend, so we probably won't see any real meaningful action until Monday. But I would definitely like to see that this RSI starts to become a little bit more erect and come back and retest the bullish control zone here up in this area of the RSI, and then we'll say that we'll come back and retest this area here, and then reassess from there what is going to happen after that. Once we reach this point, we might have some wicks getting up here here in the short term of thing. Again, maybe I'm looking towards like Monday or Tuesday before we see something like that. So we're very likely to see just some sideways trading here in the next couple of days with some anemic price action. Actually, take a look at the weekly. We are approaching a close of the next weekly candle here by Sunday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Um, Eastern Standard Time. Let's take a look here. Um, Actually, I mean, it's there's really not much to say here except that Bitcoin is still within a very bullish posture here. We didn't even come back and retest the 21 yet, but that could happen, right? But the bad news is that by the time we do break out here, say September 23rd, um, if we break down from it, the 21 will be coming right underneath this line of support from this triangle here. The bad news is that it will be coming in confluence there. So if we break that, there is nothing stopping it until about where the 200 is coming in here. There's actually several EMAs and symbols coming in at the same range here, so it would find a lot of support around 7,900. Not saying that it's going to go there, but that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm fearing at the current moment from the weekly perspective, right? But we are, we haven't lost the 30 simple here, or yeah, the 30 simple here. We haven't lost it, so it's not the time to get bearish on it just yet. All right, let's go back to the daily, finish the daily, and then we'll go into lower time frames. So if we expand on this so we can see it better, and we do see currently again above the 55, the 100 simple, the 200 simple is actually coming in here and sort of putting a top on things here for the time being. Again, I do expect this sort of continuation into the weekend where anemic trading, not a whole lot of price action going on, not a whole lot of fluctuations. You might get a few scalps here and there between now and Monday or Tuesday. But again, I don't anticipate this to be a huge trading weekend, which is kind of a bummer. because I did plan on staying in front of the computer for as long as I could this weekend and see if I can get some nice trades in. So this might be a good weekend to scope out some altcoins. That's actually something that I was thinking about earlier today, and we'll get into that and go over some of the things that I'm watching out for. Okay, so let's go into the lower time frames. I think we discussed the 4-hour already. Kind of show you what I'm thinking here. Again, as long as we're above the 55 and the 200, which we are, we can remain on this more bullish posture and keep thinking about maybe coming back and retesting this top area of resistance. Let's look at the although the 4-hour is looking pretty depressive at the moment. I do want to see a bounce off the 21 here in the middle of the neutral zone here in the RSI. Let's look at the 3-hour to see what that is looking like. Look at that. This is the kind of thing I want to see. This is the 3-hour having a bounce off the 21 here clearly, and actually having a cross the upside here, the green exponential crossing the red exponential right off the 21 very, very nicely. So again, these lower time frames can carry over to the longer time frames. So we could see that the 4-hour could actually turn around right here, right now, where it's at right now, if we can continue to see an uptrend in price. The next 4-hour will be closing at 9 p.m. tonight Pacific, which means that will be about midnight in the eastern side of the U.S. And so we'll see where that next 4-hour closes. If it closes above 350, I do think we can have continuation here of this run. So that'll be a good thing. Let's go back to the 3-hour. Yeah, so this is definitely signaling for a nice continuation of this bounce. Let's look at the 2-hour. 2-hour having a bounce off of this lower area here. Let's see what happens here. I mean, it's looking nice and erect here. It's looking like it does want to cross the upside here on the 21 down here in the RSI. If we can get above it, then I would definitely be looking for a continuation and that to actually transpire over to the higher time frame. So let's look at the 1-hour real quick. RSI is looking pretty bullish actually. It is kind of rounding up the top here within the neutral zone. So again, I do want to see continuation into the more bullish control area here. And if we do, then it can be said that we're going to have continuation of this run on the lower time frames. But currently, the 1-hour is looking like it's trading just below the simple 100 there, but above the 21, the 30, the 200, everything's pretty much underneath. So I mean, it's more of a bullish posture than anything else. So even the 1-hour is saying quite possibly we could. We're above the 21 here. We could come back and retest this area here. Do we have any bearish divergence here? No, not really. Any bullish divergence here? No. Well, kind of actually, yeah. Actually, we do have some bullish divergence here on the 1-hour. Let's see do we have it on the 2-hour? No, we don't. Doesn't look like we do. No, that looks pretty legit. We do have a little bit of bullish divergence here on the 1-hour. It is the 1-hour lower time frame, so I mean, how much impact is that really going to have on the price? This move could be said that it already played out. Could be said that it already played out, and we actually had a natural response off of the 10 simple here, and actually fizzled out already. So it can be said, right? It can be said that's already happened. The 3-hour do say that there's continuation. The 4-hour does look like it might want to follow in on that as well. So that's again more in the lower time frames, lower term scenario or midterm scenario at the most. Into the next 24 hours. Again, you could have a nice scalp. All right, so let's actually look at some alts now. I was looking at these earlier in the week to look for some scalping opportunities within alts. Let's look at XRP mainly. Let's go back and see if there's any just some sideways trading. I mean, some scalps are definitely to be had within the 1-hour here. Just sideways accumulation. Now, I don't like this formation here. It's looking pretty bearish to me. these sort of things will play out to the downside. So although you can get some scalps here on the way, like you did here, from this low to this high, from this low to this high, this low to this high, there's definitely been some opportunities with XRP actually. So if you have been trading XRP, good for you. You probably, we're making some money, but it does look overall does look bearish. I mean, we could actually break down from this formation and come back and retest the 25 cents, 25 lower end of 25 cents, 25 and 25. We're currently at 25,549. I mean, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot going on, but again, some scalps definitely are to be had if you are trading this range. The 1 hour does look like it's having a bounce, although looks like it might be topping out here. It tried to get above it, failed. Tried to get above it, failed. So doesn't look like it wants to do it. It actually looks like it wants to come back and yeah, retest this bottom area of the triangle here. But overall, I do think this looks pretty bearish, especially if Bitcoin does decide to ignore the recent price action and have a correction. I do think that XRP will follow in on that and break below these area of support right here, coming in with the there's a bunch of moving averages here, the 89, the 55, the 30 simple, the 21, everything's coming in confluence in this area. It could break down below it and come back and retest this area. If we break this, we're definitely going to come back and retest 0.2525. All right, let's look at the 4 hour real quick. See what the 4 hour is telling us. Yeah, 4 hour and 1 hour actually look like they're agreeing with each other. It does look like they're agreeing with each other. So we could come again. This looks like it could come back to the bottom of this triangle here and retest the previous area of support there. All right, so not a good idea to trade it right now. Let's look at BNB. Yeah, BNB. Let's see. What are you doing, BNB, Binance Coin? It looks like it's not having a good reaction to the whole bit of news about a lot of traders going to the US-based platform. Also, BNB was not listed within the 6 initial cryptocurrencies that are going to be offered in the new platform. So I mean that could be a nice, also a reaction to that bit of news, right? So and that is the sort of thing that will have a price impact on the price, because again, a lot of people are going to be leaving that platform, and if people were holding Binance Coin, if people were trading in Binance Coin as a pair option, if people are limiting that or moving away from that, then that would explain some of this just bearish. I mean, look at it; it's below almost every major and simple moving average here. The 30 is the only thing holding it right now, so it does have a very, very bearish posture. I do think it's got more way to go. Actually retest the 19 cents here. Let's actually put a line of support right there. Yep. Again, it does look like it wants to retest that area. Previous pivot areas there, definitely in confluence with that. So yeah, it does look like it wants to come back and retest 19 cents. So perhaps maybe stay away from it for a little bit until we do see a better opportunity. Doesn't look like that is coming in anytime soon. Link is also looking pretty much the same. We did get a wick down below into this lower area here. It is holding nice and firm there at this pivot low here, holding nice and firm there. But overall, I don't think I'd be entering a scalp on. I mean, look at this rounded top here, is looking definitely very bearish here. Yeah, definitely looking very bearish. Not going to touch this anytime soon. I do want to see it. In fact, I do want to see it come back and retest $1.44 before I would enter any trade on Link. All right, so watch out for that. In fact, let's put a little marker like we did here. Actually, actually used a different one recently where I believe it's this one. Oh, God damn these things. All right, so let's see. Right there. All right. So if we come back and retest this area, that's where I'll be looking for the next scalp in link. All right. Okay, let's actually look at Litecoin. Litecoin's looking a little better actually on the 4-hour. Is it enough to enter a trade in here? Yeah, I mean, it's finding plenty of support here with the simple 200 coming in here. Looking like indecision, really. Not too fond of this chart. I do think there was a trade opportunity here, and I think it was already had. We put a line of resistance right here. Yeah, I mean, this already played out. I do think we'll probably come back and retest the 200 simple here at 67. But more importantly, I do think we're going to come back and retest this bottom area of this line here is going to act as support now on the way down. But here's what I'd be looking at. Okay, it's actually here's what I'd be looking at for Litecoin right here. Key area. There's this descending line of support now. That the previous resistance broke above it, but we did have the move. That move already played out. Come back and retesting the simple 200 there. But overall, I do again think we're going to come back and retest this line of support here. We're probably going to trade downwards and into this previous bounce area here at 64 cents and say $64.50, and then have a bounce from there. So that will be the next opportunity in my opinion, right? And the reason why is because again we don't want to see Litecoin make a lower pivot down below this area here at 64. If we do, then I do expect a continuation to even lower prices to about this area down here at 61.93. So call it $62 here. See if we can move that up. There we go. All right. So, yeah, that's where I'd be entering a trade here. If we fail at 64, we definitely are going to come back. I mean, this is going to be a sure thing. If we fail at 64.50, we are definitely going to come back and retest $62 down here. All right, so look out for that. That move already played out. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum is looking very dull. I mean, there's really nothing to be said with Ethereum here. So that I am going to skip Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, just very boring chart. Nothing to be said there. Let's move on to Cardano. Same as Ethereum here. Same as Ethereum. Not much going on here, guys. This is more and more looking like a boring weekend as far as trading goes. All right, I think we found something here. We do see here 1, 2, 3 tries. Fourth might be the winning try. It does look like it actually wants to come back and retest that previous area of resistance there. So yeah, 1, 2, 3 pivots. Yeah, I mean, this we could have it. So here's where I'd be looking at. If we get above 46.03, here's what you all should be looking at, and we're going to make that red for resistance. If we get above this pivot here at 46.06, then if you didn't enter here, that move is actually playing out. We could have a rejection here. So again, this could be a fake out, right? So if we do get above 0.04606, then we could be. It could be said that we're going to come back and retest this area around here at about 47. Again, that's just a scalp opportunity for for you to make a small gain on your position, however you want to, however much leverage you want to use. But it does look like it is a playable, and it looks like it's brewing here. This may not be a bad idea to actually front it here. So there we go. All right, that looks a little better. Yeah, around 46 even. If we get above that, we do have a retest happening here at around 47.04, and you know that'll be a nice little move there. Do we break above it? We'll see. If we do break above it, then we could actually come back and say we can make an argument that this will be the next area of resistance here at 47.41, and then after that, here's where I'd be looking to exit that position. Again, we do have to break above this area here at 46, or I'm sorry, 0.046 cents, and then above around 0.47. If we break above 0.47, it could be, you know, we could see it continue on to about 47.40, and then ultimately ending at around almost 4.8 cents, almost 4.8 cents. All right. So that's that. Yeah, I mean that's a good opportunity. That I'll be watching this during the next few hours, and into the weekend. Let's look at hot real quick. See, do we have anything similar with hot? Yeah, no, hot doesn't look so hot. Let's see. I know I'm a dork. Yeah, I mean it's far from it. It's far from it. Yeah, hot's looking pretty cold. All right, moving on. Definitely want to make the best out of this time that we have, or I have your attention. So I want to really talk about the things that will matter to you going forward. This one looks nice, actually. VETA, VChain. This one looks like we could actually make a case for possible move here. I mean, we've quickly retested this area here at, what is it, 0.00336. We've retested it twice, and it's bounced off of it nicely. I mean, relatively nicely. So let's see. I mean, it's gonna have to put in some work. I see this as a less likely scenario, but it's you know, if you're not doing anything this weekend, you know, just keep your eye on it. See if maybe it's moving, showing some signs of life. Again, these markets are so unpredictable. You never know, right? So put a line of support right down here. Yep. Line of support. Change color. God damn it, this thing's so persistent. All right, so let's actually go back and see. Yeah, see, that's been a good area of support here in the past. So although it's trading right above the 30 here, as long as we maintain that, we could say that we can come back and retest the 21. As if you see this thing creeping up here on the 4-hour, creeping up above the 21 and this 100 simple here, and we regain the 55, that could be the play. That could be the breakout move above the 55 right there. If you're looking for extra assurance, again, look for the 55. If we get above that green 55, then yeah, we can definitely say that it might be coming back to retest again this area of resistance up here, which could potentially be coming in at around, say, 0.004120. Yeah, that's actually a little bit lower. Yeah, right down here. 0.004100. Let's put a target on it. Where were we? Right there. All right. And do that in red so you guys know. Okay. All right. EOS. Then I want to take a look at XLM. I haven't done XLM in a while. EOS looks like it already had the move. Yeah, it looks like it already played out. I'm gonna have to remove these moving averages here so that we can have a better look momentarily. Yeah, it already had to move. I mean, yeah. So yeah, we've lost it on EOS. This already looks like it's had its move, and it already looks like it wants to break down to me. Looks like looks like it's flagging out here. So we've lost this one, and I mean, it looks like it failed once. It could fail again here on the 21 and actually come back and retest some previous area of support. So I'm not going to be looking at EOS for any particular breakout anytime soon here until the next move is setting up. So let's look at last one here, and then we'll wrap it up here. Again, guys, if you are liking the content, please give it a like. Also, hit the subscribe button down below, and that way you stay on top of these videos whenever I put them out. And also leave your comments down below. Let me know if you guys like what I'm putting out for you. If you'd like me to cover a different crypto that I haven't currently covered, definitely let me know down in the comments. All right. Let me know what you guys are doing this weekend too. Let's see here. Yeah. This one's nice actually because it's been brewing for a while. Yeah, it's been definitely brewing for a while. We might get a pinch right here. All right, this is a good setup. Promise you guys, I didn't look at it prior to the video. I didn't prepare for this one, but I wanted to look at it because I know it's been a while. Scout's Honor. I didn't look at it. Definitely looking pretty good. Yeah, this is the kind of thing we're definitely looking for. Look. Looks like there is a pinch coming here. We're coming into the apex down below here. It could pop. It could definitely pop. Look at this area of support here. Sounds like I'm getting a little excited here, because yeah, this could be a legitimate area of for a nice little trade. Bring it back in. Although, I mean, here's what I don't like about this. It is on an all-time low. There is no previous area of support, historic area of support below this. I mean, geez. Guys, is this worth half a cent? No, that's 27 cents. Okay. That was 27. So we're looking at 5 cents. Sorry, guys. I kind of lost track of where we are with lumens there for a second, but yeah, I don't like that we're in a completely new low for stellar lumens. I don't think we've ever seen, at least not that I can see here within the Binance history. Doesn't look like we've ever been at this price here at 5 cents, which is kind of scary, because again, if we haven't found a bottom, this could just mean that we're continuing. But you know, for the purpose of this exercise, which is to find a scalp, and look at how long we've been, according to the daily, how long we've been under the 21 here, right? The last time we were above it was back in, or we got above it was back in July 19th. So it's been a while, although it's being controlled by the bears right now. So it could mean, I mean, it's being controlled by the bears on the daily. However, it is looking like it could have a slight bounce here, right? And we're so close to that apex. We're so down to the bottom of this. I mean, it's exhaustingly low here. So we could potentially see a breakout here of this area. I mean, it would take literally no effort to turn it around here. If we just get a slight green candle here, we could potentially, have some sort of a breakout. Now, this is going to be a very, very short scalp, because this pivot here, maybe this pivot here, let's just call it here. We'll be ultra conservative with this one here. This will be the next pivot there. ultra conservative again. All right, it may not even be worth your time. But again, these markets are unpredictable. Well, it is worth our time. Look at that. That would be at about 11.27% trade. If you enter here and we actually break out to, say, the next pivot here at 0.064, be a nice little scalp there. Let's actually look at the lower time frames. Let's look at the 4-hour to keep it consistent here. Rejection off the 21 here on the 4-hour. The 4-hour actually looks a bit more bearish. So 4 hours telling me there is continuation to the downside, which would be scary because look, we're already in a very, very thin line of support here. The 4 hours is suggesting that we have a little bit more down to go before we actually see a bounce. So we have conflicting information here. I'd be careful. I'd wait this out, but still keep an eye on it. If we end up having a bounce off this area, it could be a quick breakout, right? And again, this is where you might de-risk a little bit at 0.061 and then again at 0.064. Okay. All right, guys, that is all I have for you. Hopefully, again, you guys are getting something out of this video in exchange for your time. I appreciate you being here. Have a great weekend. Leave it down in the comments. We'll see you on the next video. Your boy, the Real Chops 56, signing out. Have a great one, guys. We'll see ya.